Hi, my name's Lynsi, and I came across Operation Love Yourself First through Twitter. I saw someone's post saying so and so's story, and I like to hear stories and listen to people's lives and what they go through. And I'm one of those people who love to listen, and I love to help people and try to get them through it. So I was like, this seems interesting. I'm gonna watch it. So I seen it, and I was like, wow, really touched and everything. And so I decided to watch the rest of them or a couple, and some of the people I was familiar with, so it was really like deep and stuff to hear what they had to say. So I was really touched, and that was great because everyone needs to know that they can get through whatever anything in life, and these people are basically encouraging them and telling them that I got through it, you can get through it, you're going through the same thing I am, I got your back, I got you, which I thought was great. So this is really awesome. But I'm gonna tell you my story. I It's not like as bad as some people's, and it's a lot worse than some others. So I don't mind telling my story because I basically tell it every day. It's not a big deal to me. I've learned to live with it and live through it. Um, I I lived with my parents until I was 10 years old. They were big druggies and meth, weed, all that other stuff, and they were always locked up in their room. I was always by myself, my imagination and my dolls and everything when I was really little. So it was just myself. And I always felt like alone, but I lived in a house full of people and I was always by myself, which like I knew people they cared about me. I knew that from the start. Like I've been loved, but it'd just be little things like I get out of elementary school at 2 o'clock, 2:30, and no one's there to pick me up. I sit there till 4 o'clock, still no ride, nothing. So I have crossing guards take me home, or I have to go to the Boys and Girls Club and call somebody to come pick me up because they forgot about me. So it's little things like that. But um, it got worse, I guess, over time. Um, I would not have food to eat. I'd have to call my aunt like 10 o'clock at night, begging her to bring me some McDonald's or anything that she can get her hands on and bring it to me because I'm starving. And so my aunt's been a big part of my life. She's helped me through absolutely everything. And but back to what I was saying, um, my parents were always fighting, locked up in their room, doing their drugs, not wanting to be around anybody. I had an older brother. He's 7 feet tall, really not like fat or anything. He's just really tall, muscular, and he'd always be made fun of and everything in school um, because of we didn't have enough money to buy the nicest clothes and all that. So he'd be made fun of, and he's got like major anger issues. So he'd come home and take it out on me, like not abuse me in a way, but he'd like slam me or like kind of choke me or play games just to beat me up and stuff like that. And I loved him no matter what. I still loved him to death, even though he was like completely mean. And he's 25 and I'm 17 now. But at the time, I was like maybe 6, 7, and he was like beating on me, and he was a teenager, which doesn't make any sense. But um, it got better, I guess you can say. He we didn't have Me and my brother didn't have a relationship after a while. It just walked past each other. We lived in the same room, not speaking to each other, stuff like that. I met my best friend. She's still my best friend, even though we don't really speak that much anymore. But I met her when I was 7. She lived down the road from me, and she was like my gateway, like to get away from everything. And so we were going through the same thing. Her mother and her father were just like mine. She had a little brother, I had an older brother, but we were going through the exact same situation. So it was like we had each other when we thought we didn't have anything. So spending at each other's house every night. She didn't go home for like 2 weeks, and nobody even noticed. She'd be at my house the whole time. And we're still friends today. It's 10 years later, and but she was with my help. She helped me through everything, and she moved to Tampa when I was like 9, 10, I guess you can say, and so I was alone again. And my parents ended up getting a divorce, and I think they were still living in the same house. I'm not really sure. I've kind of tried to block all memory I have left out, but it was one night, and I was in my room. I remember listening to the song. I was listening to Eminem, "When I'm Gone." I was 10, And I was in my room, I was listening to music, and I heard banging on the door. And I see my mom running out, and I didn't think nothing of it because we go through this all the time with every just crazy people walking in and out of our house, druggies and all that. And I heard get on the ground, get on the ground, and to me that freaked me out really bad because I thought we were getting robbed or something. I didn't think like police or cops, you know. I didn't think of them. And I walked down my room and I looked around the corner and I see my mom, just her head, because we had a hallway, and I seen just her head laying on the ground, and somebody was on top of her. I was like, oh my god. So I ran into the bathroom. Okay. For some reason I was just hiding in the bathroom, and the cop knocked on the door, the bathroom door, and I didn't answer. Freaking 10 years old, scared to death. I got people in my house. I don't know who you are, you know. He kicked the door down, literally busted the door wide open. I was sitting on the floor. He was like, oh my god, you know, whatever. So they grabbed me and all that. Then when I walked out of there, both my parents were handcuffed and sitting on the couch. Now, my mom's been to jail many times before this, and my dad has too. And so they were on the couch, and I made the decision that night that I was not going to live there anymore because I couldn't keep going through this cop after cop, you know, all this stuff. So I made that decision that night that I was going to move in with my aunt, and I've been living here ever since. It's been really rocky and everything, but I got, like, I felt, you know, at home. I felt like people loved me here. I got to eat. I got picked up from school. I got the nicest clothes, got anything I wanted, spoiled brat, you know. And I left elementary school, and I ended up going to Discovery Academy, and I met the most amazing people, amazing group of people ever. We don't talk anymore, which sucks. They all go to Ridge, and I don't. I go to Arbondale, so it kind of separated the distance, separated us. But I've never really been friends with white people, even though I am white. It's always been my group of Spanish people, you know, don't speak Spanish at all. Some of them barely speak English, but they've always been like the closest to my heart, you know. And so I became good friends with them, and I found that was the way to keep me sane. Like, they were always there for me no matter what. They always had my back, and I always had theirs, you know. So when that was all ended and we all separated, I ended up having to go to Tin Rock High School. I only went for 2 weeks, but I've never felt so alone in my life. Going from a place where I knew everybody, it was cool with everybody. I always had somebody, to go to a place where you know absolutely nobody, a big school full of white people, and I'm not really like cool with them. So, well, I'm cool with some, obviously, but that's not who I've always hung around with. I stayed there, and I've never, like I said, I never felt so alone. I had to walk class alone. I had to eat alone at lunch. You know, it really took a toll on me, and so finally got transferred out and went to Arbondale High School, which I saw some familiar faces and all that. And as each year went on, I got more alone and more alone, lost more friends, like nothing. So now I don't mind walking to class. I'd rather walk to class alone than walk with a group of people. I've always like wanted, because this is like the most important time of your life, and I've always wanted somebody to be like, oh, Lynsi, you wanna go out? You wanna, like, let's go do something for your birthday. Let's go party. Let's go chill with some people. Let's go have a good time, you know. And I don't have that. My friends don't. The freaking 2 people, I guess you can call my friends, don't have cars, don't have anything. So it's really not. I don't have that. But I do have one person in my life that I know has been there for me. We've had rocky times. It's I have a boyfriend. He's been my boyfriend for 2 years, a little over 2 years, and I met him freshman year, and his name's Jory, and he's always been there for me, no matter what. We've broken up, more than a few times, but he's literally the love of my life. Never felt no feelings toward nobody besides him. And he doesn't live here anymore, so he moved to South Carolina, and long distance is the hardest thing I have to say in the whole world, because you can't just call that boyfriend or girlfriend up, be like, come over, let's go chill, let's go on a date, you know, let's get all cuddly and stuff like that. I can't. he lives thousands of miles away and have not that to go to. Um, but he's always there for me if I need a phone call, if he's not working or whatever. He always answers, he'll always talk to me. So I know I have one person in my life that will always be there for me. And, it's taken a toll over me the past year. It's like really been really hard on me not having people in my life. But as the days go on, I'm getting more used to it. So I'm not like so depressed and stuff like I used to be. Um, I have um, like smoke. I smoke weed, I guess you could say. I don't do any of those other drugs. I don't cut myself. I'm one of those depressed people who just wants to sit there and cry and cry and cry. Like nobody will call, nobody will talk to, alone. So I'm just dealing with it myself. So I've gotten to the point where I can just, if it bothers me, just go to sleep. I sleep most of my time, anyways. Um, but something like, I'm just gonna end that there. But something like Operation Love Yourself First is just completely amazing. I think it's a beautiful thing because you need somebody to encourage you that you're able to live on. Like, I'm still here. I haven't harmed myself in any way. Um, that's just not how I take things. As much as I've wanted to, I've always wanted, not always wanted, but I've always thought about suicide, which I could never do, to be honest. I thought about it. I've wanted it so bad. I've always asked God not to let me wake up in the morning because I just can't handle it. But nobody should ever have to think that. You know, there should always be someone there to help you. And with this, you can watch people's videos and see how, like, what they're going through, and I think that's beautiful. I think that's just amazing. And really watching most of you people's videos, it's helped me a lot to realize that people go through a lot, and they're still standing today stronger than ever. And I think strong is beautiful. And I think this um, cause or operation or whatever is just amazing. And I decided to share my story. I know it wasn't really all that um, bad. It's been hard, but I'm still here. I'm still strong, still beautiful, and I hope that you guys can get something out of this, and hopefully it'll help people who watch it.